good morning, Ryan.
Good morning, Sergi.
So where are you now? Brazil?
No, back in Washington State.
Okay.
Yeah,
So all right, so let's talk about maybe your path, maybe start from your path and basically it's the subject is psychedelics and crypto. And
definitely.
we
Yeah.
kind of just start from where it will begin for you. Maybe you want to start from whatever you want to start from. If it's psychedelics or crypto, it doesn't matter. We will cover the whole thing anyway. So,
Well, it's really interesting how those two merge and just the awakening, which you speak about in a lot of your books, Sergi, and I really commend you for that because it's the world's going, and that was one thing that was really drawn to you from when I first saw when I decided to come down and do the medicine with you down there is you were really awakened what was going on in the world. This wasn't just taking some medicine, and I felt it really was applying to what's happening today. And I see that in your path, really helping people heal from what's going on. And let's see. So my journey with psychedelics started probably back in college. It was back in college, and just obviously, marijuana, which I don't do any longer. I don't like the stuff that it's become so strong and stuff nowadays, especially up here in the United States and Washington and everything. But in mushrooms and just really the knowledge that had come from those and just the healing, the strength of the mushrooms, and gosh, it just started liking mushrooms when I didn't like mushrooms growing up as a kid. So that was the very beginning, was starting with mushrooms, and that was really an awakening. And then obviously that turned into a surge, and what was really possible with this medicine that has gone back for generations and generations through all cultures across the globe. And that led me to ayahuasca, which was that experience was not really a positive one for me, just because it wasn't a really good setting. And that was something I loved when I came and saw you, like being in nature, being with a smaller group of people, working with someone and this is very important, working with someone that you trust and that can watch has your best interest at heart when you're going through stuff like this, because there's an integration process to that. So my journey with the ayahuasca was very traumatizing. I know that you like to partake
mhm.
in that some, but when I did it, I was in a room with 25 people, which I don't recommend that for anyone that's exploring to do something like that at all.
Where did
Um,
you do that?
I did that in Washington State, actually,
Uh,
with a Cheyenne Indian up here. So it
mhm.
was, being in a room, I think it's really important to, it's all about the setting when it comes to these things. And, being in nature was, I think, the most healing, very healing, right there with the heightened senses of these psychedelics. And then I had some experience with, came down and saw you down there, and that was just a beautiful experience. Stayed with you for 3 weeks up in the mountains. And that was just, it was a whole different experience compared to anything that I had tried. And from the 5-MeO in Mexico, and then which I recently did over here also, the synthetic up here, and that was a very amazing experience also. But I think there's just a lot of healing that needs to take place in the world right now, and these medicines are more healing than the faith that people have put into big pharma pushing pills that are just not good for us at all.
That's to put it lightly. That's just being very polite, you know.
Oh, yeah. And I've dealt with depression for a really long time. Depression. And I think that this stems probably from just kind of being awakened to where the world's at, and
Mhm.
my heart yearning so much for the world to be transformed. Because, we look at all the stuff that's going on right now in the world, and just like all the, you could be in a big city, whether you're in India or Africa or even in Peru or something like this, and have the wealthy people right there. And then you have the lower class right beside, and it's like,
Mhm.
these people are like stuck in these systems, and it's for generations. Most of the time, it's like something has got to change in this world.
Yeah. We better change something if we want to have a world.
Yeah,
It is. So
Especially with, I mean, you're a father, I'm a father. It's just like, I've always said I've been involved in cryptocurrency for 13 plus years now, I guess it's been, and just I don't want my children to grow up in this funny money system at all.
yeah.
So here we are, presidential debates coming up next week in the United States, and obviously Bitcoin is being pushed
Yeah.
hard. It's kind of very
Hmm.
interesting the role that is going to play, I think, in this next year ahead
Yeah.
also.
Actually, this Thursday, the debate starts.
Yeah, good old plan that
So
right
it
there.
definitely will be interesting to watch, and I'm looking forward.
Oh, oh, big time. Yeah,
You
it's gonna
know.
be that's gonna be
So talking about crypto is like maybe you want to share like how did it start from you for you? Like when and how you got into the Bitcoin.
well, it's very interesting because that merging point right there involves psychedelics and also crypto basically at the same time for me. That's when this all came into existence. So, my background before I got involved in cryptocurrency, I was a real estate agent for about 10 years. And I had 80 houses for sale and 8 agents working for me. So I wasn't just, I was very blessed to get in the right time when the housing boom took place. But then what happened was, and I think I shared a little bit with you, Sergi, about this when I was, in person with you. Is I at the very end of my career, this is when the short sales were taking place. So all the people that had put into houses when the times were good and the economy was booming, in the loans that were given that probably shouldn't have been given to people, these stated income loans and stuff like this. Now the
I'm
market,
guilty of that.
right? You were partaking that.
I was doing that. I can share that. I shared it in my book. Are you talking about 2008, 7?
Yeah, yeah, probably,
7,
yeah, right on there. Yeah, you had a
right
lot of
before the. Mhm.
had a lot of friends in the mortgage office,
Yeah.
mortgage lending and real estate, and just, flaunting the wealth of real, making all these big commissions in real estate. And I was like, hey, I became a real estate agent, went from construction, after I graduated from University of Washington to getting involved in real estate. And, it was, to me, it was like a
Yeah.
dirty industry because it was like, this is just another example where you have to go ahead and you make the money, you flaunt the money to show that you're successful, and then people are drawn to working with you. And I admit I was guilty of that, like most agents that I saw around here and everything and stuff. And I mean, with technology nowadays, you don't even really need a real estate agent. You got like things like Redfin make it so easy to buy and stuff like this. But anyway, so made the money in real estate. And then what happened was I was making money off of people short selling their homes in these foreclosure markets, because I had to get
Mm,
them out of their houses. And they trusted me. And so I helped them get out. So I built up quite a reputation of helping people get out, the loan forgiveness and stuff like this. And I felt so guilty in discussing taking on money from people that were losing their houses. And that guilt was like, it
building
felt
up.
strong. What's that?
Building up.
Yeah, it was more than just a guild. It was the energy that was taking on, more and more. Just so that that's one thing that psychedelics really shows you, is that we take on energies that we're not really, that we perhaps don't pay close attention to. And this becomes very, very obvious when you're on the psychedelics and stuff, whether you're purging traumas or things. You're like, oh, okay, well, that's what causes this. And it's that connection between our emotions and potentially like dis-ease, that can take place in our bodies. And so, yeah. And so what happened was, I had just had my baby, Isla, and I felt I needed some healing, so I went and did the ayahuasca experience. And before that, I had actually had a little bit of smoked some toad down in Mexico also. And so this is the first time when my purge down in Mexico in Tulum, taking some 5-MeO DMT. When I purged, I could feel the banking cartel. I was actually laughing a little bit and crying at the same time because I noticed that I was purging the cartel system out of my system. And I was like, oh my gosh, it became so obvious that this was had been affecting me so much. So I went for the deeper healing with the ayahuasca. And during that time, it was like I could, after that experience, I could not go back to real estate. It was an intersection of my life where I was like, I cannot partake in this system. And that's one thing that we see with the psychedelic surgery, obviously, is that people may drink the Huachuma or something like this and be like, they may shift their life completely just off of a strong belief that comes to them or a strong realization from these medicines, right? And I think that's probably why you're so passionate is you're helping people change their way of thinking
Yeah.
and realizing what the heck is going on in this world. Time to wake
Yeah.
up,
Yeah. No kidding. You
you
know,
know?
no kidding. I mean, when you awake, you awake, when you see, you see. So, and you cannot go back, and you don't even want to go back, even if you could,
Yeah, and so that was a
So,
blessing. So talking about the transition from, and what happened, my introduction to cryptocurrency, I basically lost everything at that point. Like my fancy car, the house, the nice houses that I was in at that time. And my wife, I told her, I was like, I just can't do this anymore. I don't know. I just cannot partake in this in
mhm.
real estate. And she knew me. We were married, during my real estate career. She's like, what are you talking about? Like, and I was like, I just can't go back. And it was a very, very difficult thing for me because I had to look at myself and really question, who I was. And, here I had a baby and stuff like this, and I had to take care of, and my children. And I have an older one as well that I adopted through that relationship. And I was very blessed because within about a year or so that I threw in the towel at real estate, I was able to live off my selling off my old business, and then someone called me up and he said, and this is actually after I'd gone down the rabbit hole about the banking system, just printing trillions and trillions of dollars. And he called me up and he said, have you heard about Bitcoin? And he explained that there's only going to be 21 million cryptocurrencies, and that was a big thing to me. Is I was like, I don't understand how they keep printing this money just out of just nuts amounts of money, and a finite money supply made a lot of sense to me right there. And he said, we're printing, we have a printing press of money. We're making Bitcoin. This is what we're doing. I said, this is amazing. So that was my
Mm.
introduction into cryptocurrency.
So that was for like what, 2011?
Well, Bitcoin was about $230 a coin back then. So it was about 13 years ago. Yeah, that'd be 2011, roughly right there.
So
Uh-huh.
that's when so how much you bought there? Like,
Well, so what I did was I invested about $600 into mining Bitcoin, and this started growing. And we were part of an organization, and we created the second largest Bitcoin mine in the world. And it was going just, I mean, that was verified on blockchain.info. We created this humongous amount of, and we were mining cryptocurrency. Had a lot of friends been able to mine cryptocurrency, but this was back in the day in the United States. They ended up deeming selling mining contracts was a security. So that came to an end. We had a really good ride for about 5 years there. And Bitcoin, I mean, it went up to what, like $1,200 or something like this. So, it was, and we all knew where this was inevitably be going, inevitably where it was going to go. I mean, here we are now in the presidential. I mean, this is like the apex of everything happening right now. Banks hiding how much cryptocurrency that they're purchasing right now, making the shift because this shift is so close right now.
Mhm. So okay, so for 5 years you were mining, and then what happened?
Well, the U.S. changed it and made it so selling mining contracts was seen as a security. So we had to stop partaking. We had to stop partaking in that right there. And so then, obviously, I think at that time maybe there was, I don't know how many cryptocurrencies there were. Currently today, there's 2.3 million different cryptocurrencies in the world, which is just as like it just shows how this is being blockchains are being fragmented off of it. And so I think even though blockchain is a great, it is a powerful technology. It is truth. It is math. It can be abused also and just like fragmented into all these different chains and stuff like this. So the question is like, what is going to be the crypto, of the world? What is going to be the top? There's going to be a few cryptos, in the world.
Hex, bro. Hex.
Uh, well, I have quite a story I haven't shared with you about
Huh?
Hex. Maybe we'll do a side note, but
Yeah.
I really appreciate advocates like Richard Hart. Like, there's strong personalities out there that are doing amazing things out there. And I did when I was down in Brazil, I actually I went hardcore into Hex. And so I would recommend don't throw all your eggs in one basket. I actually deviated away from Bitcoin for quite because of lower transaction fees. These are things that Hex
Mhm.
takes into consideration and stuff like this, and programmable money, all these different attributes that cryptocurrencies have. But I think it's important. I think Hex has a lot of potential for sure. I mean, I've been at Hex parties before and stuff. I've been in that crowd and experienced it and stuff. And it's there's some great personalities involved in the crypto scene nowadays.
Mhm. What did you support some conference or just a party? Like what was it?
Well, I held a party when I was in. I went to a big old Hex party down in Las Vegas. I
Mhm.
think it was like Mike Tyson's old mansion or something like this. There's a big Hex party down there, and what I was working
Tyson
on.
was there?
What's that?
Tyson was there?
No, he wasn't there. It
Uh,
was like his old one of his old mansions down there and stuff. So yeah, we had a party there. It was pretty interesting.
mhm.
Anyways, I was working on bringing a project into the Hex ecosystem. Is what I was. We
Mhm.
actually one of the blockchain projects that we had was it was interesting because Bill Gates and Microsoft actually had this patent, and it was like patent 666. It involved turning humans into mining machines.
Mhm.
And so they left that here we're talking about good and evil in this conversation that we're talking about right
Yeah.
here openly and so what happened was they left that patent. They quit it and then one of my dear friends, Lynette, she actually was able to do this project in a way turning humans into NFTs, non-fungible tokens, in mining cryptocurrency, not with a patent like 666 though. And what I was working on, it was an airdrop system, and I was trying to collaborate with the Hexicans, the Hex, to bring this as a coin that was going to be mined. It was going to be given out as people like moved and stuff like this. It was an airdrop system for the Hex ecosystem. So, excuse me, I ended up holding a mansion party down there, or my friend's mansion, like the next day after the Tyson House party down there. So had a lot of the people over there. So a lot of the biggest Hex, owners were at the party and stuff.
Oh, you mean the OG, Hex
Yeah, the
OGs?
OGs, the OG, some of the OG Hexicans were there, you know.
Hmm. So how was the project that you thought to integrate? Did it go anywhere?
Well, it didn't. I mean, Richard Hart was he saw the party that I had. It was funny because someone videotaped me throwing someone out of my pool that was not a Mexican that was talking badly about Richard Hart. Like it was
Ah,
the
really?
drunken thing, and Richard Hart got a kick out of that. He saw me actually take this guy and like eject him out of the giant pool that we had there and stuff, and like it's like no, this is not going to fly. You got to leave now,
Do you have the video of that?
I, it was on my Instagram a long time ago, and unfortunately, my Instagram got taken down recently. It got hacked and stuff. So, um,
I
you
would
know,
edit right here. I would edit in
yeah,
the
yeah,
video.
it's pretty funny. It's pretty hilarious. He got a kick out of that and stuff, and because Richard Hart is very very controversial. Obviously, he's kind of toned it down a little bit and stuff, and that was my goal, is to create more of an air to spread the word about the Hex to the people out there, to increase the price of Hex, because I lost a lot of money in Hex, and
But you
so.
still have the coins or you sell them?
No, no, I actually sold them. I sold them. And so um, that was, I think the biggest learning lesson right there again is don't put your eggs in one basket. Going to hex.com and reading and watching a lot of the testimonials and seeing people's life changes, and some people went all in and mortgaged their house and leveraged that, and now they lost a lot of money. It's kind of I saw the staking is definitely a benefit, the staking ability over at Hex. I thought that was really, really
Hmm.
big. And so I staked for a long time and stuff. But, sometimes I think that it's easy to believe if something can sound so good that we believe it's going to happen right away, just like when Bitcoin first came out. And here we are 12 years later, like where's Hex going to be in 12 years? Where's Bitcoin going to be in 12? I mean, I think so, but
I think
yeah,
Hex is going to be around because the community is there.
yeah,
I
definitely.
see a huge potential for Richard Hart ecosystem.
Yeah, I think so. Also, there's a lot of projects out there, and so we had the ability. I was working on, if not bringing one, I was going to try to do a carbon credit, help with their carbon credit system that they had on there. I mean, there's all kinds of platform programs that are going on that ecosystem right there.
Yeah, on a pulse chain,
Oh.
people building like crazy there.
Yeah. So I
Yeah.
mean, blockchain is just, back to the psychedelics, it was really interesting because my last 5-MeO experience, I finally had the ability to do this 5-MeO experience probably about 2 weeks ago now it's been. And this was not just, and for those of you out there that watch this, again, paid very close attention to in selecting the right person to do psychedelics with. This, you're not, I don't advise to go obviously drink ayahuasca or these things, and just, you're going to get more benefit if you do it in a protected environment, like working with Sergi, or someone else, that you have been referred to possibly. But the 5-MeO, this time I had the ability to do that 4 times, and they call it the Jaguar, the synthetic, and going from like a little bit, and then a little bit more, and then like a full blown right there.
So share
Go
about
ahead.
that if you want. How was it for you?
Well,
How
this
was the
was a
experience?
completely different experience. I mean, there obviously when it comes to DMT, which is the active ingredient in ayahuasca, you have your NN-DNT, which is like the plant-based from the trees or whatever it is, the bark, and then you also have the venom, the toad venom, the 5-MeO. But now what's happened, as you're aware, Sergi, is that they've started manufacturing this 5-MeO DMT,
Mm,
in the lab. So, which is nice because then the frogs are protected, obviously, because there's only one place in the world that you can find these frogs here. And so, I mean, the cartels are like in the frog business and stuff, and it's becoming an endangered species because of this. There's just a limited amount of this, but now they can manufacture this in the lab. So I've had the ability to do both of those, and the synthetic was. It was very, very extremely powerful. I'm sure you've done 5-MeO before.
no. But I
Oh,
healed some people who were traumatized by Bufo and came here for healing. So
and I can understand that. I mean, I think a lot of the time it becomes, there's a lot of people that are traumatized from ayahuasca.
yeah, of course.
They're
Of course.
just like I really was traumatized in that in my
I was
situation
too. I was too.
in ayahuasca. And the first 2 days I did 3 days straight. The third day was. I was surprised I was even here the next day. I was like, "You gotta be kidding me. I can't believe I'm still here on this planet." It was so dang powerful. But the first 2 days were magical. With the 5-MeO, it is, when people talk about like near-death experiences, they talk about that white light and the healing. And so I've studied a lot of near-death experiences where people have gone through massive healings with these near-death experiences, and they talk about that white light. And basically with the 5-MeO, that is what it is like. You go to this white light, and there's not the visuals that you see off of, like, when people talk about smoking DMT and they see all these weird designs and all these colors and stuff like this. There is no colors when it comes to the 5-MeO. It's just a straight white light that you're just like basking in your ego. This is really, and I'd love to hear you kind of talk more about this from your experience, all the people that you've worked with, Sergi, is how our ego builds up walls around our heart, which like chokes off the creativity and this life force energy within us. And just our creativity, our ability to love deeply, just these very, these higher vibrations, and stuff like this, and creativity and all this. And I was in a really, really low spot a few weeks ago, just as a lot was going on, and I know I needed something. And my shaman friend came to me right there, and we went out to the woods way out there, like 30 miles outside Seattle, and near the river there. And I had a little bit of that. And what happened was my ego completely dissolved. It just blew into an oblivion, just everything. And I could feel my body breathing, like my body breathing for the first time deeply in the longest time. It had been so long, and that was so refreshing right there. And When I was under it, I started crying, more crying afterwards because I was releasing what had happened. But I started making these noises, which was kind of like a as I was like breathing out, I was like this, like kind of like this. And as I was doing it, I was getting in tune with different traumas and stuff like this that had happened in my lifetime. And I was purging these through my own voice, through my frequency, getting them out of me. And as I was, my voice was changing and becoming stronger and more in tune. And I was like, wow. And I noticed that that was happening. And so it was very, very healing experience right there.
So what you're describing is like a kind of a chanting. You begin to chant your pain out.
That's what it was like. That's what it was like. And it was like it was really interesting because it was not forced whatsoever. It was me be right there. Like I don't know how to, I'm doing my best to describe that right there, but it was coming so naturally. And yes, I was I haven't thought about that, looking at it that way before, but chanting this out of me.
Yeah, kind of in the Buddhist way.
Yeah, very, very
Um,
interesting. I never, it was so clear to me. And, I think that just because of, where the world's at, I think like ancestral trauma. I think that I think we all have ancestors, like trauma gets sent through the
yes, of
DNA,
course.
you
Yeah,
know? And so
for
I think
sure.
with psychedelics, psychedelics have the way to correct this, I believe, and release this. And, I don't know, but I haven't really tapped too much into the past, but I think I definitely, like my dad was in Vietnam. I mean, think about the energies taken on from my father being a colonel in the military,
Yeah, that's in you too,
That,
genetically. That's
yes,
in
yeah.
you.
So I feel the need to still purge that out right there. Like I haven't tapped into that right there. And there's just in my parents' lineage, from suicide. You just never, you don't know what's in those previous generations going back right there.
That's why, talking about this is very important. Important note for vets, guys. You have to understand something that healing yourself, it's just, and one aspect of healing. When you come from Afghanistan or Iraq or whatever was the battlefield for you, and you bring it all home, all this trauma, and of course it messes you up. We all know that, and we understand the consequence. But it's not just healing you for your own well-being. It's important. It's actually very important to take it out of your system before you start a family. Like
Yes.
if you want to do family, if you have this plan and a woman is waiting for you, or you just met someone and they want to have kids, you definitely want to clean yourself up before you start a child, so you don't transmit all this trauma that you went through to your kids. It's very important. It's like nobody ever talked about this because people don't understand this ancestral trauma and how it kind of transmits through the generations. I see it
Yeah.
in medicine all the time. In my ceremonies, I see it all the time. So for me, it's like normal, but people don't understand it because it happens. It's real. You take on and you pass on. That's just
Yeah,
what happens.
that really weighs heavy on me, Sergi, just thinking about that. My heart goes out to those people out there that have, gone to war and served and stuff like this. And they maybe they didn't know what they wanted to do after high school. And then they end up partaking in the military. I mean, I was in the military for nearly 10 years, that just the Army National Guard. Thank goodness I wasn't exposed to that kind of stuff. But, here it comes through my genealogy instead. But it's like, people, just because you can't see it, I mean, out of sight, out of mind it does not apply whatsoever with these traumas. And it just I really encourage people all out there. I really hope that someone sees this and just says, okay, well, that makes sense. I mean, you're speaking to someone with lots of experience. You're speaking, hearing from me also, just from things that I'm in tune with now that have happened in my past also, and how I really really want to to put an end to that.
Yes.
right there.
In
You know,
yourself, you want to break the cycle.
yeah, and then just, I mean, if someone isn't healed and they're coming home and, from war to, and oh my goodness, it's like, I'm almost getting even nauseous even thinking about this right now, because I just can't imagine coming home and being around family and, and just, that kind of trauma. You know what I mean? It's just is. So the good news is, focusing on the good news here, is that you can get rid of it, and you
Yes.
just have to own up to the you've got to own up to the responsibility, your responsibility to go ahead and get rid of it right there. And working someone like Sergi and just annihilating that trauma, transmuting
Yeah.
it, however you want to look at it.
Transforming that completely out of you. Transmute that into another energy. You don't
Yeah,
have to carry that.
yeah, when I was with you, Sergi, and we go up in the mountains, I mean, I was with you for 3 weeks. I wasn't a person that just came there. Me and my girlfriend at the time. I'm not a person that just came there for a day or two. I'm sure you have those looky-loos that come and spend a day
I
or
don't let them come for a day. Minimum 1 week with me. Minimum.
There you
For
go. There you
that
go.
for that purpose. Yeah.
Yeah, and I really encourage that because going to our entire lives. I'm 47. No, I'm 48 now.
What is your birthday?
August 12th. So
You're going to
that's
be 48?
no, I'm going to be 49 here this.
Okay. I'm going to be 48 in a week.
See, and
So
look, I think we look really young because I think the psychedelics
a
have
lot of
actually
medicine, you know.
happy
I feel
early.
like, man, I feel like I'm like 20 in my body and like 200 in my spirit, you know?
Yeah, yeah, big time. It's like stress is the ultimate. It's just
Poison,
it is complete poison.
poison.
That is when I was with you. Now looking back, I mean, a year and a half, whatever it's been now since I was with you, just I purged on the medicine and I drank a lot of the medicine. You served me up some pretty strong doses of the medicine,
Yeah,
but you and I talking about that, just that poison that comes from the stress of life.
yeah.
And that's that merging again of that digital age, that this trans what do you call this, just this how things are changing so much right now. Moving into this, I mean, it's a bumpy road. It's like we're going an airplane going into some serious turbulence
Turbulence. Yeah, yeah,
now,
yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
that causes
Stress
that stress and that poison even more right there. So we've got to do something. You just can't go walking around and acting like everything's all hunky dory. And in words, I'm looking, gosh, like, seeing a psychologist or something like this. Okay, you're going to go ahead and just talk about something. You're just going to go ahead and just kind of keep feeding it and talking about it. Doesn't work at all,
doesn't
right?
do it. Doesn't do it. You
Yes,
know,
got to get down
I
deep.
have my vaccines, cactus vaccine for stress.
I knew you were smarter than that. Like,
Yeah, I
and those
trust that.
poisons, the other poisons with that also.
I don't do poisons. I do medicines, you know. So,
Exactly.
but talking about what we just talked about, the ancestral pain, I mean, that was true like in a normal world, like the world before COVID and before all this like craziness that we see. People had the privilege to even think about this, and those who understood, of course, and work through it. But now, I mean, the stress, it's every day now. It's like it's nothing. Forget about like your ancestral lines. Just make through another day of elections or
Yeah.
pre-election, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or like crazy policy, nuclear war. I mean, it's like we're not talking about ancestral lines here. We're talking about just a day to day. You just wake up, you watch the news, you're already traumatized by the world events and stupid politicians and all the things. It's a daily trauma that you absorb daily,
Yeah.
like every
You
day.
know, yeah, and being around people, like I am very protective of my the energy that I'm around. And after doing the medicine here again recently, I'm like extra precautious about that. It's people that go to the 9 to 5 workplace, I can't do that. I can't be around other people's energies and take on that energy. It's not, that's something that I've just been really in tune with for a long time. So I've always been an entrepreneur. My girlfriend, for example, she works, a 9 to 5, and I'm not condoning that, but like when you turn up the thermostat as they're doing, and they're making things more and more stressful out there. I mean, now you're putting people in a workplace environment, and they're bringing those vibes in, and the price of living going up, from the food going up, and the gas prices going up, and everything going up so much. It's like people just can't afford this so much. It's becoming just like, I don't know how the world's holding together right now through all this.
It's actually not. I mean, it's already collapsing. It's just like in a slow motion. It doesn't collapse like a World Trade Center. It just takes more time to collapse. But that is what we are seeing. It's a collapse. I see it already. I actually started years ago. It just takes time to for the whole thing to crumble. And the idea is to get out before it
Yeah.
crumbles on you.
So
You
I totally,
know?
and that's like, what can we do? What can we do to help other people? And what can we do positively to help affect, this transition? That's the word I was looking for, this transition. And obviously sharing cryptocurrency, whether it's,
Yeah.
Bitcoin, if it's,
Whatever.
Hex, everyone do their own due diligence, do your own research and stuff on these things. But helping share that right there, because it's foolish not to partake in, like, whether it's silver or gold, or but I can't send you silver like very easily.
Yeah, exactly. Or can travel with it.
Yeah, it's
You
just
know.
I've owned it in the past, and it was just kind of like traumatizing, just owning silver and gold, because it's such a pain in the ass.
Yeah, I mean, I have a bag of silver, but it's just sitting there collecting dust. It doesn't do anything. It
Exactly.
doesn't grow in size. It doesn't grow in value. It's just sitting there. Okay, good. So I have some silver. Okay, that's good, but it's not what it is. That's why we need
Yeah.
crypto. So we can trade with each other outside of the banking system, and that's the whole point. And that's why I like Richard Hart, because he understands the point of crypto. It's not just getting rich. That's nice, of course, but it's the freedom that it allows us. You pay me, I pay you, and we just do our business.
I mean,
That's it.
I've been blessed to be in with cryptocurrency in early stages. Like when Ethereum was $20, I picked up Ethereum, and within 6 months that went to $1,000 a coin. And people are telling me getting it at 2 cents. People are telling me getting it at 20 cents.
Yeah, you can listen.
And I got in at $2. So
to the,
no,
now I
whatever.
picked up some ETH for $3,800. I never thought I would do it. It's like, man, I didn't want to do it at 800. Now I'm doing this. Like, this is crazy. But of course, there is a reason. There is a, how I say, there is a method to the madness. I mean, it's just the ETF that being approved. It's just, that's why I'm doing that, to kind of I just bet on that news, and just
Yeah.
let it run, and then just rotate back into Richard Hart ecosystem. That's my plan.
Well, and I think, some of these times these news articles come out, like the good news like that, and these are such new concepts and stuff that the world's never seen before. But when you understand like the magnitude of these press releases, I mean, for Donald Trump to say, "Hey, we want America to mine
Yeah,
more Bitcoin than we want the rest of the Bitcoin mined in the United States," like
that's powerful.
that's powerful.
That's
I mean, what
powerful.
would happen if he went ahead and said, "Hey, well, let's do what it takes to get Bitcoin to $1 million a coin," like just like a simple, just like you see, like Elon Musk say something out there in Dogecoin spikes or something
Yeah.
like that, right? Like, I mean, we're
Mhm.
talking about leaving this. I mean, there's never been a fiat money system that's ever lasted for a really long time. These systems have collapsed over and over and over historically. So this is not
Yeah.
the first rodeo for society.
Especially now when they're printing endlessly. I mean, what
It's
do you
like,
expect? I
what does
mean,
it
it's like
take?
helicopter money is just coming from the sky, you know?
And meanwhile, you have like Saudi Arabia saying we're not going to accept, US
Dollars.
dollars. Hello, and a lot of people don't even hear this stuff at all. It's kind
Well,
of,
it's not covered on the news.
I
CNN doesn't talk about that.
oh, definitely not.
This is serious stuff, man. Countries joining BRICS now. It's like, dumping the dollars. It's not going to be good very soon.
Yeah, it's
So
very
what do you do?
important.
What do you do to protect yourself? What do you do to protect your wealth, your savings, your family? this is important to think about. This is why I included in my last book, and well, in my latest book. I don't think it's the last one. I think I will write more. But in the latest one, that's the thing. It's like, guys, like start thinking,
Mhm.
start thinking about life, like real, not just about like trivial stuff that doesn't matter, but big things like your actual life, your future of your children. How are you going to live in that system that is becoming more totalitarian and more rigid and more evil? What are your way? What is your plan? Do you have a plan at all? I mean, it's like, do you even think about that? It's like, what's your plan B when everything crumbles?
Well, and I think when people go into psychedelics, it's about you go with an intention, right? Like you want to set an intention
Mm-hmm.
with that. Like, let's say, for example, you want to be the best father you can be. What does that look like exactly?
Yeah, what does it mean actually in real life?
Yes, and what does it take to make it be a legacy? You're talking about identifying like this moment in time, for example, and how you can be part of a solution. It's more than just owning Bitcoin. It's like being an advocate, for example, and talking. It doesn't mean you have to
Yeah,
go out to bonkers and talk to everyone out there, but it's if everyone just kind of puts their energy little by little out there, we
yeah,
start shifting the system to something that's more fair. We can kind of turn the temperature back down and breathe a little bit more now,
I agree.
generations. Because I mean, your daughter, how old are your daughters now?
13 and 6.
It's so cute. I mean, we spent time together around the campfire
Mm-hmm.
over there, and they're just amazing. And mine are 11 and 16 right now. And it's like I'm watching just the pressures with social media and stuff like this out there. And it's like, oh my goodness, you know.
Yeah, of course, of course. That's yeah, I definitely. With the older one at least, she's 13 and but that's why we have medicine and family bond and good connections so we can guide them. We can guide them in
Exactly.
a better way than social media,
Right, right. Yeah.
cultural influencers, so it's very important.
Yeah, and that's the thing about it is things are becoming so blurry out there from just trans movements to all kinds of crazy. There is just
Man,
the foundation is just shattered.
it's just been destroyed. Like, I'm glad my kids not growing in America, really. This is like, I'm like watching the news and I'm like, man, you know, just thank you for that, okay? Like, I have a lot to thank for, a lot, but just
Yeah.
for that, like, my kids are not growing in America. Thank you. Here, we still have boys and girls. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, we're good here, at least for now.
Oh yeah.
So,
And what? Oh, this is very interesting. So on the psychedelics, it just it came to me about when people, let's say, if they're not being truthful, if they lie, like it can be white lies in life that accumulate in our lifetime, and then bring on other lies or negative things in our life. And and I actually had I had a realization about how some of these people change, and not condoning that trans or gay, that movement out there, but how people start going down that road, and how their life becomes such a lie, and it changes the frequency about them to where now it's just off the charts. There's completely someone that they weren't before, you
yeah.
know. And I mean, I think that people could heal off of just these hallucinogenics for that also, seeing that and being corrected.
It's just being politicized. That's the problem with it. It's like I don't, I believe in freedom and liberty, and I believe that you can do whatever you want to do to yourself in your home. You know what I mean? It's like each choose their own ways. But I don't like when politics gets involved and agendas and all that thing. That's turned it into evil. So that's where I have problem with this. And it's big. It was highly politicized. It's just pure politics now. Has nothing to do with freedom of expression. And that's where my problem is. And pushing this on kids, and I disagree with that very strongly. And I will never change my mind on that, man. So
Yeah, it's where you live and where I live is, I mean, that's a completely different.
It's a
The
different
cultures are
level.
so different. I mean, you came from Russia, the environment's different over there.
Ukraine. I'm
It's
from Ukraine,
Ukraine,
yeah. Ukraine, yeah.
and what's happening over there and stuff too. And Ukraine is actually one of the biggest Bitcoin holders in the world right now. Also, by the
Mm.
way, you're probably aware of that.
I mean, people just becoming, people realize, become to realize, people start to realize that, hey, we need some alternative system here. Look what happened in Canada. You got a sandwich for a trucker who stands for your freedom. They freeze your bank account. I mean, this is like unheard of. This is like Nazi Germany on steroids. It's like, what do
Right.
you mean? You freeze my money that I work for and I pay taxes, and you freeze that because I give a sandwich to someone who speaks for freedom? I mean, this is like, oh, this is outrageous. This is like, it's just beyond. It's like there is no term to express this. How you
Yeah.
express that? It's like, what are you saying? So my money in your bank are not safe. Is that what you're saying? Then screw you
I mean,
and your
feeling,
bank.
yeah, and feeling not safe about that, like any moment that your bank account could just be shut down. I mean, obviously, this is potentially happening, whether with like a credit system in China or something like this. It's like we don't want to see that come to our
Of
neighborhoods.
course. What do you do? How are you going to feed your kids? You go to ATM and your account is frozen until further notice? What do you do? What do you do? That's why we need our system. That's why we need crypto. That's
Yeah,
exactly why we need
you
crypto.
hear about that stuff all the time, whether they're holding your funds for too long on something and they're making profit off your money. It should be illegal, some of these things that
You're begging for your money. It's like, what's happening here? It's like you keep my money in your bank for safety, right? That's it. You are not the owner of my money. It's my money in your bank. But they don't see it like this. They see it like you put your money in my bank. It's now my money. That's how I see this. It's like,
Mhm.
okay, now you have to beg for your money. It's like, okay, guys, like if you want to keep using that, it's go ahead. I'm moving away from that. I want to be a custodian of my money, and I want to be, I want to have a freedom to use it when I want, how I want, send it to whoever I want, and speak freely my mind, and not being afraid that you will freeze my account because I don't like government policies. And I speak against that. That's why we need crypto. It's like trading outside of the banking system, which is the heart of the matrix.
Well, it's amazing how much power that they have over us just for that right there,
Of
Uh,
everything. And now they want to roll the CBDC out. That's a total. If that happens, that's it. It's over. It's like there is no way out of it. It's like when your money become digital and they control it. I mean, are you kidding me? This is it, man. This is it. It's the end game. That's what they want this because it's a total control over humanity. You will take all the vaccines we tell you, you will eat synthetic meat, you will eat worms and bugs, you will do whatever we tell you, because if not, we just delete your account, you know? So is that the future you want your kids to be living in? I don't think so. That's why
no,
we need a different system, and that is crypto. That's why the adoption is so important. The more people adopt crypto in general, any crypto, and then we can just pay each other and live our life outside of this control system. That is the point. And of course, if it goes up in value and we make more, that's wonderful. I look forward for that too. But it's not the point. This is like cherry on the top. The point is to have freedom to transact, because that is including freedom of speech, freedom of movement. It's including. If you can transact, then you can just do whatever you want.
yeah.
You
One
know?
thing that's also really important. It's not just crypto. Obviously, blockchain is the big is the big thing here. And so one movement I followed since the beginning of crypto was having social media on the blockchain. I don't know about you, but like I've had so many fake accounts made. Those, on Instagram, people make up fake accounts. They
Mhm.
steal money from people and stuff like this. And I think that's why my Instagram account got taken down this last time, is because so many people have made fake accounts of me and then taken money from people. And then they just, and
Mhm.
I'm like, okay, but that old account had the pictures of my babies being born. That was like my photo album. I used my Instagram all the way back and through, and that's just completely gone right now. Like that really pains me inside. Or, as we're moving to more of a digital age, how we depend on social media so strongly, and how we're represented, how we should be protected about so we don't lose our following and the connections that we've had. I mean, I've probably lost over, I'd say probably close to 40,000 followers between Facebook and Instagram in the last year, from accounts being hacked or whatever. So that's one thing to pay attention to. I am looking at a project called CanDAO right now, CANDAO. It means can build on a DAO. And so every blockchain in the world can build on this, actually, which is really, really interesting. And they're monetizing relationships. So that's one project I'm pretty interested in.
Mhm.
So
It's
moving
like a
forward.
social media platform.
Yeah, social media. So, the censorship and stuff like this is like, I was in Facebook jail last week for a whole week, and they never even told me what I had. I know, and
They don't say. They
all
don't
I had to
say.
do was posted an article. I knew better than to do a hashtag Trump on there, and I just said, "Here's what I just
What
put
he
the article
said.
out
You just say
about,
what
yeah,
he said. You
yeah,
don't
and
even
it was
say
just
anything about it. You say
that.
that's what he said. Check it out.
And that
Boom.
was by a mainstream, Bloomberg or whatever it was, Forbes magazine or something like that there. And they
Yeah.
didn't even tell me, because they look bad if they told you what post it was. So I was there, just
Yeah,
take the
they just say like something false information. I don't know. I get it all the time. I don't even read the stupid messages. It's just so embarrassed. It's like, man, I put something that I didn't even say anything. It's like, hey, check this out. He said that actual thing, and the person said something on the mainstream.
all the fact checking.
It's like, that is as fact checking as you can. This is the actual guy. It's like Trump says, let's bring Bitcoin to America. Okay, he said that. It's his word. He said it. But you put it there, boom, false information. It's like, what is false about this? What is false? The guy said that. I get it all the time. It's like, check out my Facebook. It's like, man, it's like it's all the time. It's like, it's all like blacked out messages. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
maybe I should stop
The
posting because
beauty,
it's all blacked out.
the beautiful thing about it is that the light's going to shine through. It's like truth is like this river, and it's working its way through the
Yeah,
rocks, and it's going
I
to go
believe
ahead,
that. I
and
believe that.
it's going to break free of this. It's just that this is just here now, and it's going to get better. We have to focus on that right there.
That's in my new book. That's the latest book, the Unplugged. That's what
Mhm.
it is. It's just like that's the way forward. That's how I see we should go forward as a humanity. That's what it is. Psychedelics, crypto.
With psychedelics, Sergi, I mean, what do you recommend? It's like in this world, it's like people can take on all this stress and go through all this on a daily basis, just doing what they do every day. It's like, as far as like taking your medicine, for example, what do you advise someone, like a good protocol, just to be able to feel good through the year? I mean, I know you take it on a quite a
Yeah,
regular
three
basis.
times a week ceremonies. I mean, if people can make it here, that would be amazing because that's where healing happens, and we can charge you up for a long time ahead. It's not just you feel good here with us. It's not the point. The point is, what are you taking back when you go home? What is the state that you're going home with, and how long you can maintain this connection to yourself and nature, which is pretty long. I mean, it depends how deep you go in the medicine, how much time you spend with us. This connection stays for a long time, and you just don't need anything. You just live your life. You have your protection, you just do your things, and you just kind of undisturbed by all this madness. You have your own center. You center yourself in nature, and
Mhm.
that's your strength. So you can come here. I definitely recommend come here, drink with us medicine for some time, as much as you can afford money and time, it's just, people have jobs, people have to go back. But what I see is people who really commit and stay longer, like a few months, they change. They change energetically. It's like they just change. They have this permanent light radiate from their eyes, just permanent. It's just they're centered, they know who they are, they know what they want from life, and they just undisturbed. You become as strong as the mountain,
Mhm.
but you need to work your way through this. There's a process involved, and you just can't do it in a week. It just doesn't work like this. Although in a week you can still do something, and there can be still some healing, and definitely it can show you direction in life. So definitely I recommend, just in general, I recommend nature. Nature is
Yeah.
medicine. Just spend more time in nature, with plants or without. Of course, if you have plants, wonderful. Just magnifies that. If not, just bring nature into your life, reorganize your life so nature becomes a big part of your daily routine. Daily. It's not just once a week to camp somewhere. Okay, that's good. But what about Monday through Friday? You just get stress, traffic, hatred, news. Yeah, I mean, what do you do with that?
I mean, it is amazing because, like, for example, in your backyard, you have those beautiful mountains, and the favorite place that we went with you was that
Yeah.
place where
We're going
the
there on my birthday in a week. So
oh
I'll put a prayer for you there.
no, I appreciate that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
July 3rd.
but we can be surrounded by nature, and people get so wrapped up in their houses or their work and stuff like this, and they just don't get out there and get grounded. Put their
Yes,
feet.
exactly.
You know.
Like literally, you need that. So whatever is your life, if you don't have nature in your life, I mean, it's like for sure you will have a need for a therapy at some point,
Oh yeah.
because you're going to. I mean, the whole system is just built around that. It's like, I mean, you're going to need psychological help because you've been overstressed. That's it. You've been overheated,
Exactly.
So you will need that. So if you don't do certain things like spending time in nature, often therapy is just what you get. You know what I mean? Prozac, it's what you get, or whatever else they have there for you, in the store. So my recommendation, absolutely embrace nature as a mother, as a healing mother, because we are children of nature. And if you find a way to connect to it in a deep way and actually draw healing energy through it, through medicines, then just, it's just more. But even if you can, just go to nature, take your kids to nature, just, wild nature. I'm not talking
Well,
about some park in the middle
children
of New York
love and
City.
appreciate nature. Children love and appreciate nature so much. It's like they're
Naturally,
in tune with it. It's like the
naturally.
best times that you have are with your children in nature.
Yeah, they're happy. Yeah,
Right?
they're happy, of course, running around barefoot on the grass. We
Oh,
are
yeah.
nature. We're not ancient boats. So that's very important. It's like spend more time, and if you have children, make sure they do it with you. We live in nature, so I don't really need that. I don't have this problem here because we are in nature. It's like natural environment. But if you live in the city, that's a serious problem. I write
Yeah.
this in book two. It's like what happens to you is like how you get sucked out
Well, and that's what they're
by
trying
the
to do
city.
that's what they're trying to do is force you into the city. I mean, prices,
Yeah.
real estate out here where I'm at. I mean, $800,000 for a house that is
Three
shoot
bedroom?
350,000. You know what I'm saying? It seems like they're just trying to. But anyways, I've really enjoyed our talk, Sergi, and just very interesting the intersection between cryptocurrency and blockchain and psychedelic.
Psychedelics, yeah. It's
I
the
think
same thing. It's just different. It's the same technology, but it's like these are different things, but it's the same principles. Principle to liberate you from the system of control, just different aspects of it.
exactly.
Psychedelics liberate you from brainwashing ideologies, and crypto liberates you from financial control.
It's really
you know?
interesting because I helped bring crypto into your life and you brought the medicine to my life. And, here we are today, and
Yeah,
just the importance for everyone to partake in both of those right there.
yeah, of course. Well, what is there anything you would like to say about like I don't know, about how was your healing before us, after us, and what is it now? Like, what do you do? What helps
Well,
you daily?
again, my intention is to go back into generational stuff. So I know that there's still some work that needs to be done right there. That's something I'm definitely looking forward to. I'm probably going to be working with some more 5-MeO for that right there. Very okay. I think that and I've been really active mining Bitcoin once again. We have a new technology that mines Bitcoin more efficiently right now. That's so it's kind of brought me back to my roots, because that's where my roots were in the very beginning when I first started making it big and was in Bitcoin. So from my last healing session with the 5-MeO, it really shared with me, it was how we've got to protect each other. And so there was a really strong thing about Bitcoin and blockchain. It was a message to me in that right there. And then it was also about, it also said, basically, it shared with me, don't focus on selling stuff. Don't focus on, um, investing also. If it was it would The message was creation. And then it came, I was like, well, what is it about create, like what we're doing right now? We're creating, you and I are creating right now this message out there. It would probably save some lives with it for people partaking in the medicine. But how do we create in creating relationships and experiences? And this is a whole new experience, people getting involved in cryptocurrency and stuff like this. So that's a message that came to me very, very strongly, and it really had a massive shift, because I do sell some health. I love health and wellness for sure. So I do sell some stuff online, but it was like, put your energy right here, right now. And so that's what I'm doing right there. And I think that I guess my message for everyone out there is real. We all have trauma. For someone that says that, I don't know if plant-based medicine is for me, I think that everyone definitely needs it. I think they truly do need it. And you will feel more of a calling. I think people will feel a calling in this, the medicines call you. And I think that it's just important to work with the right people, be in the right environment
Yeah.
right there. And just know that, like, if you're in a really, really dark spot, don't turn to the pharmaceutical things out there.
It
These
will
ser-
get darker.
and like it will, it's sooner or later you'll realize that and get off of it. So let us save you that bad trip right there,
Yeah,
and point
very
you
bad.
and point you in a better direction. So working with someone like Sergi, and just and start focusing. Just make this your first round of defense,
Yes.
offense, defense, everything, to recalibrate your life, is my message for others. So.
I think I resonate 100% with it. That's my message too, and people who take advantage of this natural technology given by divine forces, whoever made the planet, make the plans, those who take advantage benefits. That's
It,
just what it
it,
is.
it, it is interesting, like when you integrate from these medicines also, people see the change within you, and it's kind of like the world kind of comes back and tries to almost kind of attack. I don't like to say attack, but it's like you can feel the force. You know what I'm saying, Sergi? Is
Of
because
course.
they want to dim your light or whatever it may be.
Yeah, they
It's
do.
You have to work on becoming stronger on the inside
Exactly. So your
nonstop.
light becomes so
Um,
strong that it's undimmable.
Exactly.
It's
So
undimmable.
that, be ready for that,
Mhm.
and just keep pursuing truth and
Yeah.
just love and all the goodness out there.
I think it's a great place to end this conversation. So, how would people find you if they want to contact you?
Yeah, you can just find me on Instagram, for while this account lasts, on Instagram at superhuman. So it's just superhuman RYZN. Superhuman. It was Rise before, but now it's superhuman RYZN, like risen. And just my website's superhuman Ryze RYZE.com. You can just kind of see what I'm dealing
Mm-hmm.
partaking
Great.
in. stuff like
Well,
this. And I do talk about the medicine a lot on there, and you'll find even Sergi's, your company, listed on there, Sergi.
yeah, well, thank you for that. Send me all the info in the chat, like your bio, whatever you want to say about yourself, and all the links, and I'll just put it in the video description. And for people who want to check it out, they are welcome.
That's
I
awesome.
don't push on anything. I don't push anything on anyone. I just make information available. You check it out, you make your decision, it's on you. That's kind of
Exactly.
my philosophy. You are interested in my books, read my books. I think these are good books. You don't.
Yeah, read two of
Not
them.
pushing anything.
Exactly.
You
Well, thank
know,
you for having me, buddy, and hope
of
to make it
course.
down to South America again. Who knows when? Sometime in this lifetime. Sooner the better.
Yeah. Okay, well, good luck from now on. We are in touch.
Thank you, brother.
So
Good seeing you, buddy.
let's mind consciousness in the meantime.
Exactly. 100%. All right.
Okay,
God bless,
bro.
brother. All right.
Okay.
Take care. Bye-bye.